Welcome back, everyone. This is my Polymer80 AR15 build, and I wanted to get a little more in-depth with the components I put on it, and there's a lot to cover. It's going to include the Magpul CTR stock. I think I said it was an ACR in the actual shooting and showing video, but it's a CTR. And it has just a Rock River A2 grip, Polymer80 lower with a Rock River Stage 2 trigger, lower parts kit, as a Magpul M-Bus iron sights, Aimpoint PRO red dot with a Spikes Tactical cold hammer forged 16-inch mid-length barrel, and it has a Magpul angled Foregrip 2, Midwest Industries M-LOK handguard 12 inches, has a gear sector with a SureFire offset mount, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. I was really pleased with this gear sector, made in the USA. Good company. I've had some correspondence with the owner, real nice guy, and I couldn't be more pleased with this mount and the SureFire light. Has a Rainier Arms, what is it? A RAC muzzle brake, muzzle compensator. And like I said, we're gonna talk a little bit more about it and the tools you need to put all this stuff together. And let's begin. Let's start with the gear sector mount. Okay, starting off, talking about this gear sector offset mount for my SureFire light. It seems like they've thought of everything, because just down to just how sleek it is and how tight it holds the light, and putting it at a 45-degree angle really makes it easy to engage with your thumb. See if I can do this and keep everything in frame. But with my angled Foregrip 2 from Magpul, I can get right up on it and hit the light. And I notice that the button is real stiff and controlled. Now you can push the button to turn it on, like this, or you can turn the tail cap this direction to turn the light on, and it'll stay on. Back the tail cap off until it stops, then you're back into button presses. So where I like to keep it, it works just fine, perfect for where I put my hand, and I can go back to wrapping my thumb around the handguard for a controlled environment area, so that it can't be ripped out of my hand or whatever. But then you can go right back to it so easily. It just took a little bit of really didn't take me much time at all to kind of figure out where I wanted to place it on my M-LOK section. It's a 5-rail section, I believe is what it's called, and we're going to talk more about M-LOK here in a second. But from the fit and finish to this gear sector mount, it's the GS351X, and the kit, this came together with the SureFire light. It was the gear sector SureFire G2X tactical kit. Of course, mine's in black. I'm going all black with this build, of course. But 320 lumens, I believe, is the light. Yes, it's just one light output, but you have the option to keep it on steady or push button. So what I really like, this also comes with this Vibratite VC3 thread mate. It's really kind of interesting stuff. I've never used it before. It's just this kind of this gel stuff, and you just cut the corner off and you coat the threads and wait a couple minutes per the instructions, and then attach everything. And it just, of course, it allows to keep the screws from backing off based on vibration. And another thing that I found really impressive with this mount, I hope this is in frame, with my sight flipped up, I can access right there to tighten it, loosen it and tighten it so I can get my label straight up. I didn't have to make sure that this was perfectly in the mount. I can still access it right there. So we're going to talk a little bit about the tooling that's needed. Let's see here. What size is that? I think, yeah, 9/64. 9/64 is what gear sector uses for this mount. And what's great, they send you a 9/64 key with it, so you'll get this in the box as well. It was really packaged well. They did a great job. I mean, it was a box inside of a box with those big expanded pellets in it, so it wasn't going to be damaged in shipping. Of course, the light come with a battery. was checking on here. This is the CR123A battery, so it's a real common battery. And I think that's what the Aimpoint PRO uses too. Don't quote me on that. I had to look, but I think it's the same battery. And so that's it for the gear sector mount. I really like that. And they have hand stops as well. For those that want to put a hand stop maybe in the web of your thumb, kind of between your thumb and your index finger, they have those as well, I've seen, and they're really nice. I don't need it for this pistol, I mean for this rifle, but I don't know, I may consider it for another build later down the road, who knows. But as far as the SureFire light, you know, it's weatherproof. It has a, you know, you can look at all the specs up online, but it says, you know, of course it's LED, polycarbonate window, has a nitrilon body, anodized aluminum bezel. Okay, and I also wanted to mention that in the instructions you get detailed specifics on torque settings. And I'm not going to go through read all that, you know, the boring technical stuff for you, but it tells you everything you need to know. And if you don't have an inch-pound torque wrench, it tells you what to do in order just to use your fingers. So you just hand tighten it, and for whether it be the light or the mount, they say either, you know, just kind of snug, hand tight, plus 1/8 to 1/4 turn. And for me, that's what I had to do, and I'm comfortable with that setting. You just don't want to crimp your light really hard because you're going to damage something. The same way with your rail, you don't need to bear down on it because you're using the Vibratite VC3 thread mate. So get everything just tight and be done with it. Don't, you know, go crazy maniac on it. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is my Aimpoint PRO. I really like this, and you know, there are going to be red dot guys that can give you a better review just for the optic than me. I'm just going to give you experiences with the optic and tell you likes and dislikes. There's not a whole lot of dislikes, except maybe just for this strange mount. And the way it works, you click this to ratchet, and I'm going to try to see if I can get these gears up in frame here. You turn this, and when you turn this, see how the teeth come apart? And what this is, they snap down, and I'm not going to do it because I feel I don't want to damage anything because I already have it tight. But this, you turn this until it clicks, and the clicking hammers against the other cog as it jumps over and drops down and causes it to get tight. And they say do that twice and shoot it a few times and do it 2 more times, whatever is needed to keep it tight. Well, filming my video, I had to tighten it twice, so I'm not sold on this mount. I think you know, it's good that the Aimpoint came with this mount, and I appreciate I had a way to mount it, but you know, we'll see. Maybe it's just getting used to this environment and it needed to just kind of seat a little bit better. Maybe I didn't get it tight enough the first time. But you know, I can't, it's too early to tell whether I should say I dislike the mount or like it, but I think initially on it sticks a little bit out, a little bit far for me. I don't know, it's kind of, you can see it right there. I like the LaRue QD mounts. They're nice. They're expensive, but you know, they're probably one of the best on the market. So I may swap this out for a LaRue. I don't know. And as far as the Aimpoint, I mean, the dots, it's very clear, and you know, you can all the kinds of brightness settings. 30,000 hour battery life. So you put a battery in it and leave it for 3 years. It even comes with a battery, so I didn't have to worry about that yet. But as far as the optic goes, you know, I just bought another one. I like it so well. I went back to Optics Planet and told them I was a repeat customer, and they cut me a little bit of a deal. So went ahead and bought another Aimpoint PRO, and it's on the way, and looking forward to get that mounted on my other ARs. So that's it for that. You know, like I said, I won't get really in depth with this. It's a great red dot. Go check those out. Okay, and for my Magpul CTR stock, of course, it's mil-spec buffer tube, mil-spec stock. I like the stock. I feel like I kind of got a bad deal because I haven't heard of a lot of people having the same issues I have. But I had to actually put actual aluminum flashing, aluminum duct tape. Took it apart, and I made a video of that. You can see that if you want to, but just to make this tighter, because when I would hit the friction lock, the lock's supposed to lock against the buffer tube, this was wiggling really bad. And it actually still wiggles slightly, but it doesn't make as much noise as it did. So, but anyway, I had a little bit of trouble getting this to tighten up, and you know, the duct tape is not a great solution, obviously, because it's, You can see some of the aluminum rubbing off on the anodizing there. So it was just kind of a temporary fix until maybe I did something different. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you had better luck with your CTR stock than I did. But good stock, you know, it's adjustable and it's supposed to be tight to allow for better control. But there's probably better fixes out there than what I did, and I may do that different later. Of course, you do have the quick detach sling mount right here, sling post, sling hole, whatever you want to call it, one on each side. Butt plate is not real thick. I know you can get, I think, softer butt pads for this, but you know, it's not necessary, especially with this rifle running adjustable gas and a muzzle compensator. Okay, so now talking about my Polymer80 lower. I won't get real into this because I've already done that in a previous video, but the only things that I really didn't like, it requires a certain length grip screw in order to fit up, and taking this apart, there was an actual nut that slides inside the polymer, so it's really nice. It's not threading into the polymer, it's actually threading into a steel nut that's inlaid, so that's really nice. But if your grip screw is not long enough, it just won't reach it. And the set screw right here to hold the bolt catch pin in, the pin's not driven in, it's just dropped in. It's really loose. That's the only thing that I don't really care for that. Really hard to put that set screw in, guys. Maybe they've adapted a better system for the newer stuff. I don't know. I'm looking forward to see how they've changed that. But as far as everything else, I can't think of anything that I dislike when it comes to the Polymer80 lower. Milling it out was, guys, it was just actually pretty easy. The only problem was, you know, I had a crappy XY vise. But other than that, it milled out great. Holds magazines, drop free. I only have two different kinds, but they both fall free, and I only use Magpul really anyway. But everything else, good to go. Okay, now I want to talk about my Midwest Industries handguard. It's 12 inches long. It's the M-LOK version, SSM. And it has QD slots on both sides at the front and at the rear. This is where I attach my Magpul MS4 sling, and I'll show you that maybe towards the end of the video. Of course, they're on both sides. QD right here and right here. I'm not looking to see if this is in frame. I hope it is, but yeah, installation was straightforward. It comes with a proprietary barrel nut wrench, indexing perfectly for the gas tube to go through to the Rock River upper. I was only able to get, I think it was 38 foot-pounds of torque on the torque wrench. And we're also going to talk about torque wrench and what not to do with it. Almost every AR build video I've ever seen on YouTube, they use a torque wrench incorrectly. And there are a couple people that are on there showing you how to use one correctly, and the word needs to get out because, I mean, it's basic stuff. And this is in the M-LOK version, so we're going to talk about M-LOK. And we'll do that right now. I don't really have any way to, I can't, as far as just the feel and the finish of this Midwest Industries handguard is excellent. I recommend it. I love the M-LOK system. In fact, I just ordered a Geisley, the MK8, the super modular rail M-LOK, in a 13-inch for my new AR build, and I might talk about that toward the end of the video as well. Really nice handguards, guys. Check those out from Midwest Industries. And also, for the tooling, you'll need a 5/32 inch hex key right here. Allen wrench, some people call them, whatever you call them, but it's 5/32, and that's what you'll need to tighten it up. And there is torque specs on this too. I don't have an inch-pounds torque wrench, so I just used my hands and snugged it up pretty tight. All right, I really like this Magpul angled foregrip too. It's really nice, and it puts me in it takes a lot of strain off my wrist and just my entire body really when I was shooting it. I didn't have it for my shoot, but I've shot this weapon since then, and I really like it, and just holding it up makes it a lot easier. And you can tell that I'm using an M-LOK rail here on the bottom. They actually make these to where I think they make this angle foregrip that's M-LOK, but it's not the same style, and I just kind of like the way this one looked better. I might get the one with the M-LOK down the road. It's not necessary, but Anyway, so it's a 1/8 inch for the main tightment adjustment, and then let's see, 7/64 for the little screws right here. So it has an interchangeable plate. I don't have it out here right now, I forgot to get it, but it actually has a plate right here that you can take out. You can make this flat or with a finger hold. I chose just a flat plate. I like it, it feels better. But really nice, I like that. So for the Rainier Arms RAC muzzle compensator, I really enjoy this compensator. It really seemed to reduce the recoil, and like I said, I am running a restricted gas ever so slightly just during the break-in period. But angled, the holes on the top are angled out to where with gas to the sides, nothing's going to flare up in front of my Aimpoint. So I really, that's a nice feature, and it looks cool too with angled front and nice big brakes on the side. Nice compensator. You can actually set screw it and weld it in if you wanted to, I guess, but I'm not going to. I used a crust washer on a full quarter turn. Okay, I want to talk about the adjustable gas system. I'm using a Syrac Ordinance. I think I called it a Syrac Industries in my shooting video, but it's Syrac Ordinance. Adjustable gas block. This happens to be the clamp-on style, 0.75 inches, and it's really nice. But here's something you need to understand when you put on an adjustable gas block on a new build. Everything is brand new, which means you're going to have anodizing, you're going to have paint, you're going to have rust spots, you're going to have milling marks, and all this has to be worked out. And I thought I installed it correctly, or I thought I'd done something wrong, because I had to run full gas for quite a while to get the gun to lock the carrier back on the last round. And I noticed as I kept shooting, I was turning the gas down and turning the gas down even further. And it started, I was locking the bolt back, and I got down to where I was running at about half gas. I mean, at least the set screw in the front end of the Syrac was turning about halfway. And I'll take this apart and I'll show you why I think that is. Okay, so real quick, I mean, this is what I'm talking about your new builds having wear. It's clear that the side of this bolt right here is gaining a polish. And I'm not sure the coating on this. I'll just call everything anodizing for the lack of knowledge. But as you can see, there's wear. And these are the conditionings that your rifle will undergo upon its first use. And I've cleaned this up. So I mean, it was just, of course, it was also filthy too by the time I'd shot all those rounds. And of course, look at this piece. See, there's wear, and that's just real slick and real polished, and it's an indication that your rifle is just kind of coming into its own. And once you get all this clean, it's going to be smoother, it's going to work easier. And there are going to be things that you can do to be more efficient with adjustable gas blocks, and that's maybe to get a nickel boron coated bolt carrier. That's one thing you can do. Also, maybe you can change the weight of your buffer tube and go down below the weight of a carbine. I run 3-ounce buffers in both my guns, but I said buffer tube, but the buffer, you can change the weight of it. There are different weight buffer springs, but for me, it's working so well like it is. I'm going to run a 3-ounce buffer, standard buffer spring, and I'm going to just use all of this Rock River stuff, and it just like it is. I think, like I said, the set screw in the front of the Syrac Ordinance gas block is turned in about halfway, guys, and it's locking the bolt back on the last round. Now that's shooting 223 Federal ammo. I assume shooting the 5.56, it may require a little bit more gas, but for the purposes of that shoot, I was shooting 223, and it was smooth as it could be. Also, I don't know if this will come through in film, but notice the polishing right here on the top of my carrier. Just break in, guys. It's going to happen on anything. Alright, talking about the M-Bus Pro sights now. Really like these. Real stiff with the detents, and they lock into place nice. They're not going anywhere. I can't even wiggle it. Of course, 2 apertures, small and large. Large when it's down and small when it's up for longer range shooting. Real nice. The way they adhere to the rail is really nice. Just a large, well, I guess it would be a number 3 probably flathead screwdriver. Or you could also use this Allen wrench. I don't even remember what size it was, but You can use that Allen wrench. I think it's 9, I don't know what it is. It's a 1/8 inch. 1/8 inch. Allen will go there, or a large. I prefer the large number 3 flathead. All right, now I'm going to talk about the Magpul MS4 Dual QD Gen 2 sling, multi-mission sling system. It's really nice. You can tell it's well made. It comes with the MS4 adapter, which is right here. This is just an MS1 sling with the MS4 adapter kit, the way I understand it, because it says MS1 right there. Okay, so well, the way I have it is just a single point setup. And the way these work, it's really nice because you can orient this whichever way you want. If you put it in that way, it's going to be at a 90. Put it in that way, you can put it parallel to the other alignments. And that's the way I had it. And so at that point, you just pick where you want it. I like it right there in the side. So I don't really know how to review the sling. don't have a lot of expertise when it comes to sling. I've only worn this just around the house. I've actually not taken it out and field tested it, but as far as just adjustment goes, it's right here. It's really nice and it's really easy. And I can pull on this, and it's not going anywhere, but I can push on it. It goes right up. So adjustment is super simple. And yeah, I don't have a bad thing to say about the sling. I'm looking forward to actually field testing the sling. All right, now we're going to talk about M-LOK and the kind of the do's and don'ts that I've found just from messing around with them. Maybe something that you won't hear them talk about on their website or on forums or anything, but this is the aluminum 5 rail section. And I'll show you a little bit about what I got into. And I made a scratch on my handguard because I'd made one little error, and I'm gonna describe. Okay, it comes with kind of the thread lock stuff right here. So just pop your screw in and put the wide part down. Of course, that's what engages your handguard. Put the little part up on top. So you have it looks like this. And you'll need something to grab this part because you won't be able to hold it with your fingers while you get it ready for your handguard. So we'll just get everything snug. Yeah, see, now that's as far as I can go with that one. And if you leave them out too far, when you put them in your handguard, you're going to have a problem, and I'll explain. Okay, all of this talking's made me thirsty. Hold on one second. Let's do this right. Ah, that's better. All right, let's continue. Okay, so what I was talking about before and how I got a scratch on my handguard. It wasn't a big scratch, and it happened inside the rail, and I'll try to show you this. It's right in there. I just knocked off just a little bit of the anodizing when I was trying to get this rail section where I wanted it. And that happened simply because I didn't start with these wound down far enough, and it caused the screw, if you can see, caused the screw to tilt to one side. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't go too far and scratch your M-LOK rail, but you want to go far enough to where when you attach it, it won't slip inside your handguard. So let's take a look at those right now. Okay, so just test fitting it into my handguard, I can already see that they're hanging down a little bit too low. So, and if they get hung up in there, just get your Allen wrench hand in and turn it a little bit and it'll come out. But I can see that they're just a little bit too low because they're falling in a little bit too far. So we'll make an adjustment. It's kind of hard. You need 3 or 4 hands doing this, but it looks closer. It is just kind of tedious, but once you do this and you're done, you don't have to do it again, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I've tightened both of them down now. Let's see what that looks like. And what you want positive engagement of the rail when you turn this. And it sounds good. If it jumps off the rail and jumps past it, it'll cant that screw and you can cause a scratch. So let's see what that does. Okay, so for my Midwest Industries handguard, and I assume if they're all made the same, that's how far you would be hanging down below the little ears of your handguard. And for that, it fits perfectly right in, locks up, and then you can hear the positive turns to where it engages the handguard, and then you just snug it up from there. And I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to leave it here, but that's it. It's a little bit difficult in the beginning, but once you get them set where they're supposed to be, then it's really fast and it goes. You can put it anywhere you want and change it easily. Talking about my Rock River 2-stage trigger, and for you trigger experts out there, this may not mean much to you, but just for the novice starting out like me, I like the 2-stage trigger just simply because that last stage is an easier pull than the first stage. So you have trigger take up just a little bit until you reach the second stage, and then a lighter break. If you have a single stage trigger, well, you're pulling it all at once. So you can't drop the hammer until all of it breaks at one time. And I'm speaking specifically for my Diamondback DB15 with a single stage trigger. I tell you, it had one of the worst triggers I had ever felt in anything in my life. And I love my Diamondback AR15, but it was a terrible trigger. Single stage, it was gritty, I had to take it out. I polished it up, I blocked it to where it maintained 90 degrees, and I polished it with 3000 grit wet or dry sandpaper, and it took me about an hour. It was brutal, but now it's one of the best triggers I've felt in any single stage AR. And I haven't felt that many, but it was nice. I mean, it's nice, it's fine, I'm not even going to change it. But this 2-stage Rock River trigger was far superior. Like I said, later break, a softer, lighter pound pull break once it reaches the second stage. You get against the second stage and then it breaks. You can actually feel it and it makes a click. So there are better analysis and better reviews of 2-stage triggers than what I just gave you. But check those out and you'll understand it's really pretty simple. I've only been able to fire this rifle at about 30 yards with the Spikes 16-inch cold hammer forged barrel. And from everything I've read and buddies that are professionals when it comes to ARs, these barrels are accurate, guys. They're full auto capable, I think 20,000 rounds capable. I'll probably never put that many rounds through it in my lifetime. I hope I'm able to. I hope I can get out and shoot that much, but these are so much fun. And for anyone that has reserves or reservations when it comes to the AR, well, you can call it an assault rifle if you want to, but it's just it's fun, and any weapon is a bad weapon in the hands of a madman. So don't think just because this black rifle looks the way it does it's bad. It's probably the most fun I've ever spent shooting anything in my entire life, and I don't plan on hurting anyone. All right, everyone, there's my showing with a little bit of breakdown of components, a final look at my Polymer80 build, and everything I've said before. I tell you, it's been a great build, and I can't wait to show you my next one. I just ordered the Spikes Tactical Billet Gen 2 upper and lower, and I ordered a Geisley Super Modular Rail MK8. And that's going to be a brand new build. It'll probably take some while because this gun, as you see it right now, I have over $2,000 invested My wife is real proud of this. So thanks for watching, everyone, and tune back in. I'll have more videos just as quick as I can get them up.